stepmom showed up on my 1-year sober anniversary to pressure me to start using again. She didn't know our entire family was eavesdropping from the hallway. I was in the kitchen, baking the cake for my 1-year sober anniversary, when my stepmother waltzed into my home with a key I didn't know she had. My entire family was in the hallway upstairs, so it looked like I was home alone. "Well, hello there, stranger," she sang in that southern accent that I hated. But before I could respond, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a pill bottle. "Here, I brought your favorites. Let's keep this between us." I felt sick to my stomach. She'd always done this. Always got me to relapse when no one was looking. Except this time, people were here to see how evil she really was. I just needed her to finally expose herself for the woman she really was, so I played along. I looked at her and said, "Wow, Dad would be so proud of the woman he married." I stared at her, waiting for her to lose her cool. It worked. She blurted, "Your father? That sack of crap died worrying about you, his junkie son." I kept my voice steady even though my blood was boiling. "Because of me?" She laughed and swallowed one of the pills herself before continuing. "Remember when you were 16 and had that panic attack before your driving test?" I nodded slowly. She continued, "What you didn't know was that it wasn't a random panic attack. It was caused by an oxy. You see, I crushed an oxy into the tomato soup I gave you that morning. That was your first taste of opioids, and you've been hooked ever since." She was practically glowing with pride as she said it. I couldn't breathe. I knew she was bad, but I didn't know she was this bad. From there, her confessions only got worse. So much worse. I spoke. "So what about my chronic pain? The one that started after my wisdom teeth surgery and never went away? What was that?" She lit up like I had asked her favorite question. "Your dentist was my cousin. I paid him to nick a nerve during the surgery. Just enough damage to cause permanent pain. After that, you got diagnosed with opioids, and that sealed the deal with the addiction." My hands were trembling, but I had to keep her talking. My family needed to hear all of it. "What about the times I got clean and then relapsed out of nowhere? Did you have something to do with that too?" Lilith stepped closer with an evil smile, waving the pill bottle in my face like a trophy. "Of course I did. Whenever you started to get better, I put Xannies in your protein shakes and I crushed pills into your food so you wouldn't get better. Remember those family dinners where you couldn't keep your eyes open? Where you'd slur your words even though you swore you didn't take anything? That was all because of me." She lifted her hand up to give me a high five, with an evil grin plastered on her face. I stood rigid. I remembered every single one of those nights. I thought I was losing my mind, but I wasn't done. Not yet. There was one more thing I had to let everyone know about. What happened the night Dad died? Why did I show up to the hospital barely able to stand, slurring my words, too messed up to say goodbye even when I hadn't taken anything? Lilith giggled. "Ha ha ha, because I crushed 3 oxys into the coffee you had that morning. Your pathetic dad died thinking his son chose Drarig over him." In that moment, I did what I always did for comfort. I touched my dog's collar on my keychain, the only thing I had left of him. Lilith noticed, and her eyes lit up with cruel delight. "I forgot about that old mutt that died," she said, pointing at the keychain. "Remember when I made you think you killed him?" She continued. "I put Benadryl in his food, gave you sleeping pills, then positioned his unalived self next to you while you slept. When you woke up, I convinced you that you unalived him." I could barely see through my tears, but I asked her one final question. "Why? Why would you do all of this to me?" She slammed the pill bottle on the counter. "Because you existed. Every time your father chose you over me. Every dollar spent on your therapy instead of our vacation. You were a constant reminder that I was his second choice." She leaned in close. "But look at you now. Even sober, you're ruined. The liver damage, the brain damage, the criminal record, it's all permanent, and no one will ever know what I did." That's when we heard it. Crash. The sound came from upstairs and shattered everything. Lilith spun around, stumbling in her heels. Her own daughter, the one who always defended my stepmom, stood at the top of the stairs. Behind her, my entire family crowded the hallway. Their faces were white with shock. They had finally heard everything. They walked past her, down the stairs, and wrapped their arms around me. "I'm so sorry," her daughter whispered. "I believe you." Lilith was given 8 months in prison.